Ethan's ship broke through the planet's thin upper atmosphere with a soft rumble, the landing engine shaking slightly as he touched down on the alien soil. The world around him glowed in shades of blue and green, with massive plants stretching high into the sky, their translucent leaves pulsing with soft light. He had traveled thousands of light years to explore uncharted worlds, but nothing had prepared him for this. Every breath of the planet's slightly sweet air carried an electric charge, and the ground itself seemed alive beneath his boots. He checked his equipment as the hatch hissed open. Sensors picked up faint movement in the distance, shadows flickering among the luminous vegetation. Ethan adjusted his visor and stepped onto the surface, his heart racing with a mix of excitement and caution. The air was breathable, thankfully, but he kept his helmet on. It was easier to stay safe than sorry. As he wandered, Ethan noticed shapes moving among the glowing plants. Small creatures darted from one stalk to another, almost invisible in the shifting lights. He bent down to observe one, a tiny quadruped with 6 delicate legs, each tipped with a soft pad that made no sound on the moss-like ground. Its eyes reflected Ethan's visor as it froze, staring at him for a moment before scuttling away. The world was alive, vibrant, and alien in a way that made his pulse quicken. Then, from between 2 towering blue trees, she appeared. Lyra moved with a grace that seemed unnatural, almost as if she were floating rather than walking. Her tall, lithe frame was accentuated by smooth, glowing markings running along her arms and neck, pulsing faintly in rhythm with her calm, measured steps. Her eyes, large and luminous, locked onto Ethan instantly. He froze, sensing that he was being studied, but not in the threatening way he had learned to expect from most unknown species. There was curiosity there, but also something else. A calm, protective awareness that made his chest tighten. "You are human," she said, her voice musical, almost vibrating with the planet's hum. "Males especially are rare here. Why are you here?" Ethan swallowed, unsure if he should speak first. He knew from the ship's data that humans were almost unknown in this sector, and encounters like this were risky. "I'm an explorer," he said cautiously. "I study new worlds, their life, and their resources. I mean no harm." Lyra tilted her head, studying him. "Explorers. You bring curiosity, and sometimes danger. You are far from your kind. And yet," she paused, her eyes flicking toward the glowing forest around them, "I cannot let you wander alone here. There are others who would take you, study you, or worse." Ethan felt a chill despite the planet's warmth. The weight of her words pressed against his chest. "You would protect me?" he asked, partly in disbelief. "I will," she said simply. "I do not know why, but you matter here. You are rare, and rare things must be kept safe." Her presence was commanding yet reassuring. She gestured toward a path that twisted between the luminous plants. "Come, we must move. This planet is not safe for you to explore without guidance." Ethan hesitated but followed. The path seemed almost alive, twisting gently as if the plants themselves were aware of their movements. He noticed that every few steps, Lyra would pause and glance around, her eyes scanning the forest with uncanny precision. He tried to match her attentiveness, but felt clumsy compared to her natural elegance. As they walked, Lyra began to speak. "Your kind, humans, are not common in this galaxy. Males, in particular, are few. I have seen your species only in stories, and now, here you are." Ethan's curiosity piqued despite the danger. "Stories? About humans?" "Yes," Lyra said, her eyes reflecting the soft glow of the plants. "Legends speak of your resourcefulness, your courage, and your unpredictable nature. Some see it as a threat, others as a treasure. You are unique." The words made Ethan feel both proud and wary. Being unique in a galaxy full of life was exciting, but he had learned long ago that rarity often came with risk. "I've always tried to adapt wherever I go," he said quietly. "I just try to survive and learn." Lyra smiled faintly, a gesture that felt almost human. "You are stronger than you think, and yet your kind is delicate in ways we do not understand. That is why I cannot leave you alone here." Hours passed as they moved deeper into the forest. Ethan marveled at the strange creatures flitting through the air. the massive glowing flowers opening and closing rhythmically, and the faint hum that seemed to resonate from the soil itself. It was beautiful, but he could not shake the sense that this world was watching him and that he was very much out of place. Finally, they arrived at a clearing dominated by a crystalline structure that shimmered with light. Ethan could see intricate patterns carved into the walls, patterns that seemed to move subtly when observed. Lyra led him inside, where the temperature was cooler, and the soft glow of the crystals bathed the room in calming light. "This is a safe place," Lyra said. "Few enter here without permission. You will rest, and we will speak more. There are things you must understand about this world, and about yourself." Ethan looked around, feeling a mixture of awe and uncertainty. "Why me?" he asked, unable to hide the question. Lyra stepped closer, her gaze steady. "I do not know entirely. Perhaps because humans are rare. Perhaps because your presence challenges the balance of this place. But I know one thing. I will not let you go. Not while danger exists." Her words hung in the air, and Ethan felt a strange sense of both fear and reassurance. He had traveled the stars expecting to find unknown worlds, but he had not expected to encounter a being so determined to keep him close. Her intent was clear, and though he did not fully understand it, he felt a flicker of trust. That night, Ethan slept on a soft, glowing surface provided by Lyra, surrounded by the hum of the crystal walls. He dreamed of stars and distant worlds, but also of a tall, luminous figure watching over him, guarding him against threats he could not yet see. When he awoke, Lyra was already awake, standing silently at the edge of the room. "We will explore more today," she said. "You will learn, and you will see why your kind is rare. And perhaps, why I cannot let you go." Ethan nodded, a mixture of anticipation and caution in his chest. He did not yet understand the bond forming between them, but he could sense it growing. This alien woman, with her strength, intelligence, and rare fascination with him, was about to change his life in ways he could not imagine. As they stepped out into the forest together, Ethan felt the weight of the universe pressing on him, not just the vast distances he had traveled, but the rare and precious nature of his own existence. And as Lyra walked beside him, glowing markings pulsing softly in the alien light, he realized that he was no longer simply an explorer. He was someone rare, someone unique, and someone worth protecting. The journey had only just begun. The morning light of the alien world filtered through the towering, glowing trees, casting a soft green-blue hue across the forest floor. Ethan stepped out of the crystalline shelter, still feeling the thrill of being alive on a world so unlike his own. Lyra was already waiting, standing tall and serene among the luminous plants. Her markings pulsed faintly in rhythm with the energy of the planet, and Ethan felt, once again, the weight of her gaze upon him, watchful, protective, and insistent. "Today," Lyra began, her voice calm but firm, "you will see more of this world. You must understand it, not just observe it. Many things here are alive in ways your species does not imagine. You must be cautious, yet adaptable." Ethan nodded, following her along a winding path. The plants here were enormous, some towering over 50 feet, with leaves that shimmered like stained glass. Small creatures scuttled along the ground, moving quickly and silently. Ethan could feel the planet's energy in every step, a quiet hum under his boots. He could also sense the danger. Despite its beauty, this was a world that could change in an instant. A world where a wrong step might be fatal. Lyra led him to a river that glowed faintly from the bioluminescent algae in its waters. She bent gracefully and touched the surface with her hand. "This water is safe. Drink if you need. It is unlike any water on your home planet. It sustains life here, and it can give energy to beings not native to this world." Ethan knelt and drank cautiously, the liquid cool and slightly sweet. Immediately, he felt a surge of alertness, as if the planet itself was waking something within him. He looked at Lyra in surprise. "You are experiencing a minor adaptation effect," she explained. "Your body is responding to the energy here. It is subtle, but humans are. Resilient. Rare, yes, but strong." As they continued along the river bank, Ethan observed the alien creatures more closely. Some had wings like translucent silk, others moved on multiple legs. Yet all seemed to interact with the forest in perfect harmony. But he also noticed subtle signs of danger. Predators, moving almost invisibly, watched from above. Some plants had defensive thorns that could shoot out of touch. This world was breathtaking, but it was not forgiving. You must keep your senses sharp, Lyra said, noting his cautious movements. Many beings will see you as a curiosity. Some will want to study you. Some will want to exploit you. You are rare, and rarity can be dangerous. Ethan shivered slightly. Humans were not common here, and he was beginning to understand that being rare brought more than admiration. It brought attention, and not always the safe kind. Their path soon led to a plateau overlooking a valley filled with bioluminescent plants and creatures moving like currents in a river. Ethan could hardly believe his eyes. The sheer scale and beauty of the place were beyond anything he had ever imagined. Look, Lyra said, stepping beside him. This is the Hard Valley. Life thrives here unlike anywhere else. It is the center of this region, but it is also watched closely. Many do not welcome outsiders, even rare ones like you. Ethan scanned the valley. Among the glowing creatures, he noticed movement that seemed unnatural, mechanical, or controlled. Are those machines? He asked, squinting. Lyra's expression grew serious. Not machines, exactly. Guardians. This planet's people use them to protect key areas. They are efficient, but not without limitations. You must understand their patterns if you are to move safely. Ethan felt the weight of her words. So far, he had assumed that danger would come from animals or unpredictable events. But these guardians were intelligent and disciplined. Humans were not common, and their curiosity often led to mistakes. As they descended into the valley, Lyra demonstrated how to move without drawing attention. Notice the flow of the creatures, she said. Notice how the energy moves through the plants. You can blend with it if you remain aware. Ethan tried to follow her instructions, mimicking her movements. It felt strange at first, almost unnatural, but gradually he began to sense the subtle rhythms of the valley. The creatures and plants seemed to respond to his presence, not aggressively, but cautiously curious. He realized that Lyra's guidance was helping him adapt faster than he had imagined. Suddenly, a disturbance rippled through the valley. Ethan froze. From the far side, several alien figures appeared, tall and armored, moving deliberately toward them. They were not like Lyra. They carried a sense of authority, of control. Lyra immediately stepped in front of him. Stay behind me, she said, her voice low but commanding. Her markings glowed brighter, and the energy in the air seemed to shift around her. The approaching aliens stopped a few meters away, studying them carefully. Ethan could feel their scrutiny, their curiosity, and their suspicion. One of them stepped forward, speaking in a language he did not understand. Lyra answered swiftly, translating. They have heard of you, she said quietly. They want to see the human male. This is why I cannot leave you alone. Ethan's pulse quickened. He had faced many dangers before, but the realization that his mere existence could create political tension was unsettling. What should I do? He whispered. Watch and learn, Lyra replied. Observe their behavior. Do not panic. You are stronger than they expect. The aliens continued to study them, but Lyra's presence kept the situation calm. She explained their culture, their rules, and their fascination with rarity. Humans are considered exceptional. Not many have survived encounters with our people, she said. You have a chance, but only if you remain mindful and adaptable. After a tense hour, the aliens moved on, leaving Ethan and Lyra alone in the valley. Ethan exhaled deeply, feeling the adrenaline leave his body. Why me? He asked again. Why care so much? Lyra's gaze softened, though it remained steady. Because you are rare. Because you are human. And because I see something in you. Something valuable. I cannot let you go, not while danger exists, and not while you are so rare. Ethan felt a mixture of pride and unease. Being rare meant being special, but it also meant constant attention, constant vigilance. And yet, there was comfort in her words, in her presence. For the first time, he felt that someone in the universe truly understood him, not just his body, But his mind and his spirit they set up a temporary shelter by the riverbank that evening. Lyra showed him how to create protective energy barriers and taught him to sense the subtle cues of the planet. Ethan was amazed at her patience and knowledge. Every movement, every lesson was designed to keep him safe, and he began to appreciate not just her skill, but her dedication. As night fell, the forest transformed into a glowing spectacle of light and shadow. Ethan looked at Lyra, realizing that he was not just a visitor on this planet anymore. He was something unusual, something rare, and he had a guide who would not let him face the dangers alone. "You've done a lot today," Lyra said, her voice soft. "But tomorrow, we will go deeper. You must understand fully why humans are rare and why your presence matters here." Ethan nodded, feeling both excitement and apprehension. He was learning fast, adapting to the alien world, and beginning to understand the value of being human in a galaxy that barely knew his kind. As he drifted to sleep that night, he felt the subtle energy of the planet surrounding him. Lyra was near, silent but watchful, and he knew she would not let anything happen to him. For the first time in his travels, Ethan realized that rarity was not just a curiosity, it was power. And with Lyra by his side, he was beginning to understand how to survive and perhaps even thrive. In a world that was as beautiful as it was dangerous, the journey was far from over, and Ethan could feel that tomorrow would bring challenges unlike anything he had faced. But for now, he was alive, he was learning, and for the first time, he felt a bond with someone who understood the true value of his existence. And Lyra, she would not let him go. The next morning, Ethan awoke to the soft glow of the forest filtering through the shelter. Lyra was already moving, her lithe figure weaving between the plants as if she were part of the world itself. Ethan quickly dressed and followed, his steps careful, trying to match her grace. Today, Lyra said, they would venture further into the heart of the planet, a place few outsiders had ever seen. "This region is unpredictable," Lyra explained as they walked. "Creatures here are intelligent, and some do not welcome humans. Many will watch you. You must rely on your senses and on me." Ethan nodded, feeling both nervous and excited. He had survived challenges before, but the intensity of this world, combined with Lyra's constant presence, made him aware of just how rare and valuable he was. Every step reminded him that being human here was extraordinary and dangerous. As they moved deeper, the landscape changed. The glowing plants grew taller and denser, forming natural corridors. Strange insects floated in the air, emitting soft light, and Ethan could feel the hum of the planet vibrating beneath his feet. Then, out of nowhere, a flock of creatures swooped low across their path. Their wings shimmered like liquid crystal, and their eyes glowed with curiosity and caution. Ethan froze. "Stay calm," Lyra whispered, stepping in front of him. "They are observing, not attacking. Let them see you as part of the world, not a threat." Ethan held his breath as the creatures circled them, wings brushing close enough to feel the air ripple. Slowly, they drifted away, and Lyra released a soft sigh. "You did well. You are learning faster than I expected. Humans are adaptable but rare. That rarity makes you important." Ethan swallowed. He was beginning to understand the weight of her words. In this galaxy, humans were seen as unique, unpredictable, and sometimes powerful. He felt a strange mixture of pride and caution. Pride because his existence mattered, and caution because it also made him a target. They pressed on, reaching a river that cut through the dense forest. The water glowed faintly, reflecting the soft light of the surrounding plants. Lyra knelt beside it, examining the flow. "This river is a central lifeline," she explained. "It nourishes the valley, but predators, both animal and sentient, watch it closely. We must be careful." Ethan crouched beside her, scanning the area. It seemed peaceful, but he knew better than to trust appearances. "Predators, you mean? Other aliens?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, there are factions who have learned of your presence. Some see your rarity as an opportunity, others as a threat. I will protect you, but you must remain alert. You cannot rely on my strength alone." Ethan felt a shiver run down his spine. Humans were not common, and it seemed that his presence had already stirred curiosity and possibly danger across the planet. But he trusted Lyra, and he trusted her judgment. As they moved along the riverbank, Ethan noticed a faint disturbance in the water ripple that did not match the gentle current. Before he could react, a sleek, armored figure emerged from the shadows of the trees. Its eyes glowed faintly, scanning him with precise calculation. "Stay behind me," Lyra said immediately, positioning herself between Ethan and the figure. Her markings flared, casting a protective glow around them. The alien figure stepped closer, moving with careful, deliberate steps. "You're human," it said, its voice mechanical but audible. "Your kind is rare here. Come with us." Lyra's eyes narrowed. "No, he does not go anywhere without my permission." The figure paused, then spoke again, its tone sharper. "You are defying orders. This is a rare specimen. It belongs to the Council." Ethan's pulse quickened. He had known danger could come from the local species, but this direct confrontation was unlike anything he had faced. He looked at Lyra, seeing her resolve and determination. She would not allow him to be taken. The situation escalated quickly. The armored figure moved to grab Ethan, and Lyra reacted with speed and precision. Energy pulses shot from her hands, creating a protective barrier that forced the figure back. Sparks danced across the air as the alien tried to break through. Ethan felt the rush of adrenaline and fear, but he also felt something else. Trust. He realized that Lyra's strength was not just physical. It was strategy, intelligence, and sheer determination. He followed her movements, learning instinctively how to stay safe. Finally, after a tense moment, the figure retreated, its authority overruled by Lyra's force and command. Ethan exhaled, his heart pounding. "I didn't know humans could be this significant," he said, awe in his voice. Lyra's gaze softened slightly, though her alertness remained. "You are rare," she said simply, "and rarity carries value. That is why I cannot let you go. Not here, not now." The rest of the day passed in cautious exploration. Lyra taught Ethan how to sense the subtle energies of the planet, how to move without drawing attention, and how to anticipate both natural and sentient threats. Ethan's admiration for her grew with every lesson, as did his understanding of how special humans were in this part of the galaxy. By evening, they reached a cliff overlooking a valley bathed in soft bioluminescent light. Ethan gasped at the sight. Rivers of glowing liquid flowed between trees that pulsed like living lanterns, and creatures moved like shadows of light. "This is one of the few places humans have ever seen," Lyra said, her voice quiet but firm. "It is beautiful, but it is also fragile. The balance here depends on vigilance, intelligence, and respect. And humans, you can tip that balance in unexpected ways." Ethan turned to her. You really trust me? Even with everything I don't understand?" Lyra's eyes met his, steady and unwavering. "I do, but trust is not enough. You must prove your understanding with action. You must show that humans can adapt, survive, and contribute. That is what makes your kind remarkable." As they descended toward a safe resting area, Ethan noticed subtle signs of activity, small movements in the underbrush, faint glimmers that suggested hidden watchers. He realized that Lyra's caution was not overprotectiveness. It was necessity. Being rare made him a target, and the stakes were higher than he had imagined. That night, as they rested under a canopy of softly glowing leaves, Ethan reflected on the day's events. Humans were few, but their value was immense. They could think creatively, adapt quickly, and survive in conditions others might find impossible. And with Lyra by his side, he had learned that humans could also inspire loyalty, trust, and protection even from a species far beyond their own. Lyra sat quietly beside him, watching the glow of the forest. "You are not just rare," she said after a while. "You are important, and that is why I cannot let you leave. Not just for your safety, but for the future of this world. You bring something others cannot, something unpredictable, something human." Ethan felt a mixture of pride and responsibility. The words settled in his mind. He was rare, yes, but he was also valuable not because of strength alone, but because of his mind, his choices, and his willingness to adapt. And Lyra, she had chosen to stay close, to protect him, and to ensure that he could navigate this world safely. As sleep took him later, Ethan felt the subtle hum of the planet around him. It was no longer just a backdrop to his exploration. It was alive, aware, and connected to everything, including him. He had survived the day, learned the ways of the valley, and earned a small measure of trust from Lyra. But tomorrow would bring new challenges. Rumors of the human male would spread further. Rival factions would seek him, and the balance of the planet could be affected by his presence alone. Ethan knew he was stepping into something far larger than himself, and yet, with Lyra at his side, he felt ready. He was rare, yes, but rarity was not weakness. It was power, and with it came responsibility, trust, and the beginning of a bond that neither distance nor danger could break. For Lyra had said it before, and it echoed in his mind as he drifted into sleep. Humans were rare, and she was not letting go. The morning air was crisp, and the soft glow of the alien plants bathed the forest in shades of green and blue. Ethan and Lyra prepared to move deeper into the heart of the planet, where the greatest concentration of life and danger waited. Ethan's training and adaptation over the past days had sharpened his senses, but he knew that rarity still made him a target. Lyra's presence was constant, her glowing markings pulsing softly as she led the way. Today, we face the heart of the challenge, Lyra said. The planet tests all who enter this zone. Many have failed. Humans rarely survive here without guidance. Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of her words. He had learned much about the planet, about its creatures, and about himself. He had adapted in ways he never thought possible. Yet he sensed that today would demand everything he had learned and more. As they moved into the dense forest, Ethan noticed subtle shifts in the energy around them. The plants seemed more alert, the creatures more cautious. Faint glimmers of light moved in patterns, almost like surveillance. Then, from the shadows, figures emerged, aliens in sleek, armored suits, their eyes glowing faintly. Lyra stepped in front of Ethan instantly, her stance commanding. "Stay behind me," she instructed. Her markings flared brightly, creating a protective aura around them. The alien figures paused, clearly surprised by her strength and presence. "You are the human male?" one of the figures asked, its voice firm but not hostile. "You are not to leave this region. The council has decreed it." Lyra's gaze hardened. "I will not allow that. He belongs to no council. He is rare, yes, but he is free, and I will protect him." Ethan's pulse quickened. He realized that his presence was causing a ripple effect across the planet's factions. Being human, being rare, made him important and dangerous. He looked at Lyra, feeling a mix of fear and trust. She would not let harm come to him, and he was ready to face whatever came next. The confrontation escalated quickly. The armored aliens advanced, but Lyra was faster, using precise energy pulses to create barriers and redirect attacks. Ethan moved instinctively, following her instructions, dodging and observing. His adaptability impressed even himself, and he began to see why Lyra had said humans were rare and strong in unexpected ways. As the battle continued, Ethan spotted a weak point in the alien formation. He acted without hesitation, using a fallen branch enhanced by the planet's energy to disable a key device, controlling the alien suits. Sparks flew, and the alien group faltered, giving Lyra the opening she needed to push them back. When the confrontation ended, the armored aliens retreated, their authority overruled by Lyra's skill and Ethan's quick thinking. He exhaled, realizing just how close danger had been. Lyra's hand rested briefly on his shoulder, her touch firm and reassuring. "You did well," she said softly. "Your species, your ingenuity, it is remarkable. That is why I cannot let you go. Not now, not ever." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. The words, simple yet powerful, carried a weight he could feel. He understood that he was no longer merely an explorer. He had become part of something larger, a bond, a partnership, and a recognition of human value in a galaxy that barely knew his kind. They moved deeper into the heart of the forest, reaching a massive clearing filled with glowing flora and strange, hovering creatures. Ethan marveled at the beauty, but he also sensed that this was the heart of the planet's energy, a place where life and danger coexisted in delicate balance. Lyra guided him to a vantage point overlooking the entire valley. "This is the core," she said. "It sustains life across the region. Few humans have ever seen it. Few even survive long enough to understand it. You are learning quickly. That is what makes you rare. That is what makes you valuable." Ethan studied the scene, feeling the pulse of life in every plant, every creature, every shimmer of light. He realized that his existence could influence this balance, for better or worse. The responsibility was enormous, but he felt ready. Lyra had prepared him well, and he trusted her guidance completely. Suddenly, a disturbance rippled across the clearing. Rival factions, aware of Ethan's presence, were approaching. They moved silently, with precision and intent. Ethan froze for a moment, then felt Lyra's steadying hand on his arm. "Stay calm," she said. "You are rare, yes, but your rarity is strength. Trust yourself. Trust me." Together, they moved strategically, using the terrain, the creatures, and the subtle energy of the planet to their advantage. Ethan's human instincts and creativity complemented Lyra's experience and strength. They worked seamlessly, anticipating movements, avoiding traps, and outmaneuvering their pursuers. At one point, Ethan noticed a path that led to a hidden grove, shielded by dense foliage and energy barriers. He pointed it out to Lyra, who smiled faintly. "Yes, humans often see what others miss. That is your gift." They reached the grove safely, taking a moment to catch their breath. The energy here was different, calmer, more harmonious. Ethan could feel the life of the planet resonating with him, and he realized that his presence, rare as it was, had found a place where it could belong. Lyra turned to him, her expression softening. "You have done more than survive," she said. "You have adapted, learned, and contributed. That is why I cannot let you go. Not just for your safety, but because you matter here. Because humans are rare, and you are extraordinary." Ethan felt a deep sense of understanding and gratitude. For the first time, he realized that rarity was not a curse, but a gift. Being human, being different, gave him the ability to influence, protect, and connect in ways others could not. And with Lyra by his side, he was no longer alone in a galaxy that often overlooked his kind. As they rested in the grove, Ethan and Lyra shared stories of their worlds. He spoke of Earth, its people, and the struggles and triumphs that shaped humanity. Lyra shared tales of her species, their advanced technology, and the delicate balance of life on their planet. They laughed, learned, and grew closer, their bond strengthened by shared experiences and mutual respect. Night fell, and the grove glowed with a gentle light. Ethan lay down, feeling a sense of peace he had not known in years of traveling the stars. Lyra remained near, her presence a constant reassurance. He realized that he was not just rare, he was part of something bigger, a partnership that bridged species and worlds. "You will rest here," Lyra said softly, "and tomorrow we will begin the next stage of your journey. But know this, you are no longer alone. Humans are rare, and I am not letting you go." Ethan smiled faintly, feeling the truth of her words settle deep within him. The journey had been perilous, the challenges immense, but he had survived, adapted, and proven himself. He had earned not just Lyra's protection, but her trust, respect, and recognition of human worth. As he drifted into sleep, he could feel the life of the planet around him, humming gently, almost in harmony with his own heartbeat. He had faced danger, learned, and grown, and he knew that with Lyra by his side, he could face whatever else the galaxy might throw at him. And in that moment, Ethan understood the full meaning of rarity, strength, and connection. Humans might be few, but when they appeared in places like this, they left a mark that could not be ignored. And he, rare as he was, would not be forgotten, not by this planet, not by Lyra, and not by the universe itself. The adventure was far from over. But for now, Ethan was safe, valued, and profoundly aware of his place in the galaxy. He was rare, and he was extraordinary, and Lyra, she had made it clear that she would never let him go. The stars above the alien forest shimmered softly, reflecting the promise of a future that was uncertain, thrilling, and shared. Together, Ethan and Lyra would face it, human and alien, rare and powerful, bound by trust, respect, and the knowledge that some connections, once made, could never be broken.